Right now, while you're watching this, two massive winter storms are racing toward America. One could drop 8 feet of snow. The other threatens catastrophic flooding that could wash away entire neighborhoods. And they're both arriving during the busiest travel days of the year. In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to show you the exact counties where flooding could become deadly and why meteorologists are calling this weather pattern biblical in scale. But first, here's something that'll shock you. Over 55 weather stations are about to break temperature records tomorrow on Christmas Day, not by a little. We're talking temperatures soaring 30 to 40 degrees above normal in some areas. Chicago could hit 70 degrees on Christmas morning. Does that sound normal to you? Here's your first reward for staying with me. At exactly the 5-minute mark, I'm going to reveal which major cities will see blizzard conditions develop so suddenly that travelers could be stranded on highways with zero visibility. The timing of this is critical, and most people have no idea it's coming. Let me paint you a picture of what's happening right now across America. Imagine our country as a giant battlefield and two opposing armies are marching toward the center. From the west, a monster storm is already dumping rain across California. From the north, Arctic air is gathering strength in Canada, preparing to plunge south like an icy fist. And in between, millions of Americans heading home for the holidays, completely unaware of what's about to hit. The National Weather Service has issued high-risk warnings for catastrophic flash flooding. Do you know how rare a high-risk warning is? They only issue these when meteorologists are absolutely certain that lives will be at stake. We're talking about the kind of flooding that can turn a peaceful creek into a raging river in minutes. Here's a number that should make you sit up straight. The Sierra Nevada mountains could receive 8 feet of snow. That's not 8 inches. 8 feet. Picture a basketball hoop completely buried in snow. That's what we're talking about. But stay with me because at the 3-minute 20-second mark, I'm going to show you something even more alarming about this storm pattern that the mainstream media isn't telling you. Let's talk about the heat wave happening right now. Yes, you heard that right. A heat wave on Christmas Eve. Over a dozen states are experiencing the warmest Christmas in recorded history. Dallas will hit 80 degrees tomorrow. Little Rock, 78 degrees. Oklahoma City, 78 degrees. You might be thinking, well, warm weather sounds nice, right, wrong. This extreme heat is actually fueling the storm systems. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire. The clash between this unseasonably warm air and the Arctic cold that's about to sweep down from Canada, that collision is going to create explosive weather conditions. Think about it like this. God created natural laws that govern our weather. When warm air meets cold air, something has to give. The energy has to go somewhere. And that energy becomes wind, snow, ice, and rain. Now, I promised you critical information at the 5-minute mark, and I keep my promises. Here's what most people don't realize. Starting Friday night, a narrow corridor stretching from Buffalo, New York, all the way down to New York City is going to get hammered with 5 to 10 inches of snow. Some areas could see up to 8 or 9 inches. But here's the twist. If you're just 20 miles north or south of this corridor, you might only see a dusting. This means millions of travelers could drive straight into a snowstorm without warning simply by taking the wrong highway exit. The question you should be asking yourself right now is, am I in that corridor? Let me give you the exact locations. If you're anywhere near these areas, pay close attention. Northeast Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, Long Island, Buffalo, the entire stretch of Interstate 90 between these cities. If you're planning to travel on Friday night or Saturday morning, you need to change your plans right now. But wait, there's more. And this is where it gets really dangerous. Before the snow arrives, something even more treacherous is coming. Ice. Freezing rain is forecast for southern Michigan, northern Ohio, including Cleveland. We're talking moderate to heavy freezing rain at times. 1/4 to 1/3 of an inch of ice accumulation is possible near State College, Pennsylvania. Do you know what 1/3 of an inch of ice can do? It can snap power lines like twigs. It can turn highways into skating rinks. It can make tree branches so heavy they crash through roofs. Isolated to scattered power outages are expected, and this is happening the day after Christmas when everyone is trying to get home. Here's a question for you. Do you have flashlights ready? Do you have extra batteries? Do you have enough food and water to last 48 hours if the power goes out? I'll give you a moment to think about that. Now let's shift our attention to the West Coast because what's happening there right now is absolutely unprecedented. And at the 10-minute mark, I'm going to reveal why scientists are comparing this storm to historical disasters. The West Coast is getting pounded as we speak. Multiple inches of rain are falling in a very short time across California. But here's the thing that should terrify you. This rain is falling on burn scar areas. You know what a burn scar is? It's the land left behind after wildfires. The Palisades fire area, for example. When fires burn through an area, they don't just destroy the vegetation. They actually change the soil composition. The ground becomes hydrophobic. That means it repels water instead of absorbing it. So when heavy rain hits these burn scars, the water doesn't soak in. It runs off fast, creating deadly debris flows and mudslides. Imagine a wall of mud rocks and debris racing down a hillside at 30 miles per hour. That's what we're talking about, and it can bury houses, sweep away cars, and trap people in their homes. The rainfall totals are staggering. Los Angeles is expected to receive around 3 inches of rain in just 48 hours. Santa Maria, 2 to 3 inches. San Francisco, 2 to 5 inches. Northern California near the Redwoods, another 2 to 5 inches. You might think, well, California needs the rain, right? They're always in a drought. Wrong again. California barely has any drought conditions right now. They don't need this rain. It's excess water that the ground can't handle. It's going to cause problems, not solve them. And here's something most people don't know. Tornadoes are possible in Southern California today. Yes, tornadoes. Spin up tornadoes embedded in the rain bands on Christmas Eve. When was the last time you heard about tornadoes on Christmas? This is the kind of weather pattern that makes meteorologists lose sleep at night. It's the kind of pattern that reminds us that nature is far more powerful than anything we can control. As it says in Job chapter 37, verse 6, "For to the snow, he says, fall on the earth, and to the downpour, his mighty downpour." Now, I promised you information about what scientists are comparing this to. Here it is. The intensity of this West Coast storm rivals some of the most powerful storms of the entire year. The combination of heavy rain, potential tornadoes, catastrophic flooding risk, and 8 feet of mountain snow, all happening simultaneously. It's extremely rare. Meteorologists are calling this a once-in-a-decade storm pattern. But here's the part that should really concern you. This isn't just one storm, it's 2, back to back. The first storm is hitting today and tonight. Then on Christmas Day, a second storm system moves in. That means California gets no break. No time to recover, no time for the water to drain away. It's like getting punched, and while you're still reeling, getting punched again. And remember, all of this is happening while that Arctic air is building up in Canada, getting ready to sweep south. Let me ask you something. Do you believe in coincidences, or do you think maybe there's a bigger message here? I'm not saying this is judgment or punishment. But I am saying that extreme weather has a way of reminding us how small we are, how much we depend on forces beyond our control, how important it is to prepare to help our neighbors and to put our faith in something greater than ourselves. Here's a statistic that'll blow your mind. By Monday and Tuesday of next week, around New Year's Eve, cold air will be blanketing almost the entire East Coast. Even Florida will feel it by Monday into early Tuesday. Temperatures will drop 30 to 40 degrees in some areas within just 24 to 48 hours. That's not a gradual cool down. That's a temperature cliff. So if you're thinking about putting away your winter jackets for 2025, don't. You're going to need them. Now, let me tell you about something fascinating that's happening at the exact minute mark of 15 minutes into this video. Stay with me because you need to hear this. The current temperature situation is mind-boggling. Right now, on Christmas Eve, we're seeing temperatures in the 70s and 80s across the southern plains. Near St. Louis, it's approaching 70 degrees. Tomorrow morning, on Christmas Day, people are going to wake up to some of the warmest Christmas morning temperatures ever recorded. Cincinnati, Oklahoma City, even Los Angeles and San Francisco with low temperatures in the 50s and low 60s. When's the last time you woke up on Christmas morning and it was 60 degrees outside? By afternoon tomorrow, Little Rock will hit 78 degrees. Oklahoma City, 78 degrees. Dallas, 80 degrees. Almost every single one of those cities is breaking records. 55 different weather stations will record record-breaking temperatures tomorrow. Let that sink in. 55 stations. From the mid-Mississippi Valley to the West Coast, from Atlanta, Georgia, through the Southern Plains. Even Idaho and Montana are experiencing the warmest Christmas on record. This is unprecedented. But here's where the story takes a dramatic turn. And this is the twist I promised you. After Christmas, everything changes. Fast. That Arctic air sitting in Canada. It's not going to sit there much longer. By Sunday and Monday, it's going to unleash across the northern plains, the Midwest, and the Great Lakes. This Arctic blast will drop temperatures so quickly that some areas could see snowflakes and thunderstorms in the same day. The cold front will race across Canada and sweep down through the central and southern plains. And by Monday and Tuesday, New Year's Eve week, the cold air will reach the East Coast. Picture this. You're celebrating the warmest Christmas in history on Thursday. By Tuesday, you're scraping ice off your windshield and bundling up against temperatures that feel 40 degrees colder. That's not weather. That's whiplash. Now, let me share something with you that's going to help you understand the bigger picture here. Weather patterns don't happen in isolation. They're all connected. That high-pressure system building over the desert Southwest and southern plains. That's what's creating this heat dome. It's forcing warm air northward, but it's also setting the stage for the cold air to come crashing down with even more force when it finally breaks through. It's like holding back water behind a dam. The longer you hold it, the more powerful the flood when it finally breaks. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Let me give you some very specific forecasts now, because details matter when you're making decisions about travel and safety. For those in New England, you're already seeing light snow flying across northern areas. This will continue for the next few hours. If you're in central and northern New England, a white Christmas is very likely. Maine and northern New Hampshire will wake up to snow on Christmas morning. But the real winter storm doesn't form until Christmas night. That's when it develops over the northern plains and upper Midwest. Here's something important. This storm won't reach winter storm criteria in the Midwest. That might sound like good news, but don't be fooled. It's still going to cause major problems. Light sleet, light freezing rain, just enough to create a glazing of ice up to maybe a 1/20th of an inch from Minnesota to Wisconsin, an inch or two of snow in far northern Minnesota and the upper peninsula of Michigan. That might not sound like much, but here's the thing about ice. You don't need a lot of it to create chaos. Even a thin glaze of ice can make roads impassable. It can cancel flights. It can cause pileups on highways. Overnight, Thursday into early Friday morning, freezing rain and drizzle will spread across Wisconsin. Milwaukee, Fort Wayne, Indiana, western Ohio. Snow will concentrate in northern Michigan and Canada. Friday morning, that's when things get serious. Freezing rain moves into southern Michigan and northern Ohio. Cleveland could see moderate to heavy freezing rain at times. Significant ice accumulation is likely in some locations. Isolated power outages are possible. Dangerous travel is guaranteed. If you're planning to travel on Friday, please reconsider. Is the trip really worth the risk? By Friday afternoon, the snow and rain system moves into the northeast. Heavy sleet and freezing rain will hit central and western Pennsylvania. Heavy snow will fall across western New York. The timing is critical. Around 3 to 4 p.m., snow will be spreading from New York City to Buffalo to Watertown. Friday evening, freezing rain and sleet continue across Pennsylvania. Washington, D.C. residents need to pay attention. There are real concerns about ice accumulation during late evening Friday into early Saturday. Northern Virginia, too. Saturday morning, the heaviest snow starts moving offshore. But before it does, there will be a period of very heavy snow across northern New Jersey, Long Island, southern New York, and northeast Pennsylvania during late evening Friday into early Saturday. Here's the narrow corridor I mentioned earlier. This is where the jackpot snow totals will occur. 5 to 10 inches of snow in a very tight band. New York City could be close to 8 or 9 inches when it's all said and done. But step outside that corridor. You might see almost nothing. This is why hyperlocal forecasts are so important. Your neighbor 5 miles away might shovel 8 inches of snow while you barely dust off your car. Or vice versa. That's how narrow this band is going to be. Now let me tell you something that's going to happen at the 20-minute mark of this video, the most important safety information you need to know. But before we get there, let me share something from Scripture that's been on my mind. Psalm 147, verse 16 says, "He gives snow like wool. He scatters the frost like ashes." There's something humbling about weather like this. It reminds us that despite all our technology, all our weather satellites and computer models, we're still at the mercy of forces we can't control. We can predict the weather, but we can't stop it. We can prepare for it, but we can't prevent it. All we can do is respect it, prepare for it, and help each other through it. And that brings me to the safety information I promised you. If you're in the path of any of these storms, here's what you need to do right now. Not tomorrow, not later tonight, right now. First, check your emergency supplies, flashlights, batteries, candles, matches. When was the last time you actually tested your flashlight? Do it now. Second, food and water. You should have enough non-perishable food to last at least 72 hours. Water? 2. 1 gallon per person per day. If the power goes out, your refrigerator food will spoil. Your tap water might not work if you're on a well system. Third, medications. Make sure you have at least a week's supply of any critical medications. Pharmacies might be closed, roads might be impassable. Fourth, phone chargers. Charge all your devices now. Get a portable battery pack if you don't have one. If the power goes out, your cell phone is your lifeline to the outside world. Fifth, know your neighbors, especially elderly neighbors or those with special needs. Check on them. Make sure they're prepared. In emergencies, communities that look out for each other survive better than those that don't. Sixth, have a backup heat source if you can. If the power goes out in freezing temperatures, you need a plan. Fireplaces, wood stoves, portable heaters with proper ventilation. Never use a gas oven or stove to heat your home. Carbon monoxide kills. Seventh, keep your car gas tank at least half full. If you need to evacuate or if there's an extended power outage, gas stations won't be able to pump gas. Eighth, bring pets inside. They feel the cold just like we do. Make sure they have shelter, food, and water. Ninth, clear your gutters and downspouts now before the rain and snow arrive. Clogged gutters can cause water to back up under your roof or freeze and create ice dams. 10th, and this is critical, know when to stay home. If authorities tell you not to travel, listen to them. They're not trying to ruin your plans. They're trying to save your life. Too many people think they can handle winter driving until they can't. And then they're stuck on a highway in a blizzard with zero visibility and no help coming because emergency vehicles can't reach them. Is that trip really worth dying for? Here's something else you need to know about this weather pattern. The lake effect snow that's going to set up after the main storm passes. When that Arctic air sweeps across the relatively warm waters of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, it's going to pick up moisture and dump it as snow on the downwind shores. Buffalo, Syracuse, Watertown. These cities know lake effect snow well. But this event could be particularly intense because of how cold that Arctic air is going to be and how warm the lake waters still are. The temperature contrast is everything when it comes to lake effect snow. The bigger the contrast, the more snow you get. Some areas could see localized snow totals of several feet over just a few days from lake effect alone. That's on top of whatever they get from the main storm system. Now, as we approach the 23-minute mark, I want to bring this all together for you. We're looking at a week of extremely active weather across the United States. Record warmth giving way to Arctic cold. 2 major winter storms affecting different parts of the country. Flooding, ice, snow, and dangerous travel conditions. But here's the thing. This doesn't have to be a disaster. If we prepare, if we help each other, if we use common sense and respect the power of nature, we can get through this. Communities that come together during emergencies always fare better than those that don't. This is our chance to be the helpers, to be the light in the darkness, to show that even when the weather gets scary, humanity doesn't have to. Check on your neighbors. Share resources if you have extra. Offer rides to those who need them when it's safe to do so. Open your home to someone who loses power. Shovel an elderly person's driveway. These small acts of kindness ripple outward in ways we can't always see. Remember what it says in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 2. Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. You never know when your small act of kindness might save someone's life. As we wrap up, let me give you the big picture timeline one more time. Today, Christmas Eve, California is getting hammered with rain. Warm temperatures across most of the country. Tomorrow, Christmas Day, the warmest Christmas on record for over a dozen states. A second storm hits California. Light snow in New England. Christmas night, the Midwest winter storm begins to form. Friday, ice and snow spread across the Midwest and Great Lakes. Heavy snow develops in the Northeast. Saturday, the main storm moves offshore, but lake effect snow begins. Sunday through Tuesday, Arctic air sweeps across the entire eastern half of the country. Temperatures plunge. Snow continues in the Great Lakes. New Year's Eve week, cold air blankets the nation. Florida even feels it. And beyond that, well, that's still uncertain. Weather patterns become harder to predict the further out we go. But one thing is certain. This is going to be a week to remember. Before we end, I want to tell you about what's coming next. In my next video, I'm going to break down the January forecast. Early indications suggest we might see another Arctic outbreak around mid-January. Plus, there are hints of a potential nor'easter forming along the East Coast. You're not going to want to miss that analysis. The winter is far from over. In fact, it's just getting started. The best time to prepare for a storm is before it arrives. Not during, not after, before. So please take this seriously. Make those preparations now. Check those supplies. Charge those devices. Know your plan. And above all, keep the faith. We've weathered storms before. We'll weather this one too. May God bless you and keep you safe through these storms. And may we all emerge on the other side stronger and more united than before.